WGS Radio Wrestletalk.
That I got rug burn on my penis.
After what happened to his uncle Eddie Guerrero back in November.
While at a nature's preserve, beware of the granny waft.
I don't combine my liquor, or else I get a, bad case of Montezuma's revenge.
And that's why we call it Wrestling Talk with an Edge. It's The Rant, live every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock Eastern on Blog Talk Radio and Go Fight Live.
Hi, I'm Sonic Fanatic from Aurora Shock Media. What's Aurora Shock Media, you ask? Aurora Shock Media is a group of 6 people whose purpose is to give you quality entertainment in the latest and greatest video games, movies, music videos, and programs. We also provide awesome vlogs and crazy stunts. And because there's 6 of us, we're always coming out with something new. For more information about Aurora Shock Media, go to aurorashockmedia.weebly.com. That's aurorashockmedia.weebly.com. And while you're there, check out some of our cool videos.
Aurora Shock Media. It has begun.
This is Team Gooch, and we're in WGS, the best running wrestling and gaming radio show ever, only on Blog Talk Radio. And if you don't like anything we say or do, 1, we respect your opinion. 2, fuck you.
Big 3 News. Visit us on the web at big3news.net and big3news.com. To contact us during the show, use the interactive chat window or call us on Skype at 440-249-6397. That's 440-249-NEWS. Skype users use the Skype ID of Big 3 News. To make your own contribution to the show, email Big 3 News at info@big3news.net. Stay connected with us after the show. Be sure to download our community toolbar to get access to all of our social links like Twitter, Facebook, MySpace, and YouTube. Thanks for watching, and thanks for contributing to Big 3 News.
Hi, I'm the Reverend Jake Slayer. Are you tired? Feeling kind of run down? Is your ass dragging more than a fat lady at a foot race at the 4th of July picnic? Well, if it is, I've got the product for you. New Boxer's Energy Drink. It's the finest blend of monkey piss and caffeine we can jam in a can. And remember, that's bonkers. It's a carbonated slap in the balls.
This year, you'll hear artists like these on Rockin' Waves 11-2-94. Don Henley.
Woohoo!
Sweet and soft. The Rolling Stones. Frank Zappa.
Hey there, people, I'm Bobby Brown. They say I'm the cutest boy in town.
The hits Old and New are being played all throughout 2011 on Rockin' Waves 11-2-94. Listen online every Friday from 1 to 5. Every Saturday from 10 p.m. until the party ends. Go to blogtv.com/people/Quizmaster1 to listen in on all the hilarities.
That mouse is going to be the voice in Fred the Movie Part 2.
Hey, this is the Studley Man, Ashley. And I'm looking for my cowbell.
Oh, I found it. Right, let's go, boys, from the top. 1, 2, 3.
American dream.
Wait for it.
He's just a common man, working hard with his hands. He's just a common man, working hard for the man. Hey, he's American dream. Hey, he's American dream. If you are black or white, redneck, monkey, that's alright. Blue eyes with a lot of soul. Common man has got his goals. Hey, he's American dream.
Make sure you put your fingers in the right place of the garden.
Shake that booty, Ashley.
God, he's wearing polka dots.
Conspiracy theory or not?
Hello, Wrestle Gamer fans. This is GCW superstar Cody Hawkins, and you're listening to the Wrestle Gamer Show on WGS Radio on Blog Talk Radio.
Hi, welcome to another edition of Fireside Chat with me, the Reverend Jake Slayer. Do you need a little touch of class in your life? Are you looking to be properly educated in the world of professional wrestling? Would you just like to kick the shit out of Michael Cole? Well, now you can. Just tune into the Wrestle Gamer Show every Wednesday night, and we will bring you the most up-to-date coverage in the world of professional wrestling you can get free on the internet. You can even call and join in the fun. So listen to Double B and the rest of the crew on WGS Radio. And really, I mean, listener, I will show up at your front door and kick the crap out of you. And now, back to our show.
Rev doesn't need a bodyguard. Carly does.
WGS Radio.
The best running, wrestling, and gaming radio show ever.
The Studley Man Ashley.
Hey, the Studley Man is twice nightly.
The Shining Star Rick Star is in attendance.
Yes, I am. What's going on, guys?
Andy, how you doing?
Hi everybody, hope you're all well.
Hi, I'm the Reverend Jake Slayer.
WWE fan, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
WGS Radio.
The best running, wrestling, and gaming radio show ever.
Presented by www.thewrestlegamershow.com. And we are back.
Yeah.
For the second hour of Wrestle Talk here on WGS Radio, Double B, Billy Boudreaux. And again, I live by this affirmation: Chuck Norris can change your whole outlook on life with one roundhouse kick.
I'm kind of worried, though. You know, the polka dot situation. Have you got a secret camera somewhere in my house? Damn it.
No, but the people from Team Gooch have been kind of cluing me in as to what you actually do at night.
Ooh. Mick, stop looking at my G-string that way.
That's why.
Guys, welcome into the line.
Going off early. He's been sewing sequins on his new top.
On that note, let's welcome, I believe, Gohan 6425. Gohan, are you there? Gohan, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Yes, Gohan, how are you doing this week? You've been absent the past couple of weeks, buddy. You been okay?
Oh, yeah, I've been doing good. You know, my Green Bay Packers won this past Sunday and are going to the Super Bowl, so I'm pretty happy right now. Made my purchase for the T-shirt. Hopefully I can get another one in 2 weeks. But it's really good. Going really good this week.
All right. Now, let's go ahead and get to the week in review here because we got a lot to get to. We'll start with TNA Impact. Now, TNA, of course, in usual fashion, has to start with, guess what, folks? A promo. However, it was a fairly interesting promo involving Kurt Angle, who decided to come in the ring, first talk about Jeff and his hot former wife, Karen. And then we see Eric Bischoff and Ric Flair, and they try to send the security guards, you know, Team Jarrett, and they pretty much had their asses handed to them. Pretty much the same way that Mick gets his ass handed to him by a WWE fan.
Damn.
Anyway, the first match of the night, it was a non-title fatal four-way knockouts match with Mickie James, Sarita, Velvet Sky, Madison Rayne. First thing I want to say, thank you, God. And then my favorite outfit of the night, and I'm sure Ashley's too, was Velvet Sky, who had holler across her chest and hollering across her butt. I do more than hollering at her butt, to let everybody know. Anyway,
well, the cameraman for the most epic
crop
shot.
Mickie James got the win in this one, and again, I'll say it before I say it again, I love them Daisy Dukes.
Hardcore country.
Beer Money can not only wrestle, ladies and gentlemen, they can cut a very good promo, and they did just that, hyping their match later on in the evening with Mr. Anderson and RVD. And then we see the Samoa eating machine, Samoa Joe, talking to Okada. Now, I'm going to stop the review just for a second. I wonder if you guys could clue me into this. Just exactly who is Okada?
He's a wrestler from New Japan, which I think a bit later on in the show there was a little bit of a promo showcasing some of the stuff that Hardy, Van Dam, and Beer Money did when they went over to fight in the big wrestling show that they have at the start of every year at the Tokyo Dome in Japan. It was put on by New Japan, and I'm guessing there must be some kind of relationship because Okada was there acting as the secret cameraman for Samoa. Shit, I haven't eaten enough. Where's my next lorry of buffet food? Joe.
Next thing we see, Rob Terry and Ric Flair. Ric Flair cutting a promo about the women in attendance and asking if there's a single one of them that wouldn't want to go home with Rob Terry. 3 hot, beautiful blondes at ringside said no, and which Flair responded by saying Terry would take all three of them and, well, quote, hurt ya. Woo.
Oh, good. That's definitely not PG. Encouraging rape. Yay!
Flair challenges Morgan to come out and to show what he's got against Terry. Well, the Blueprint did just that. Just stuck a foot right in Rob Terry's face and got the win. Wow, was that even really necessary? I mean, did anybody get a clock in on that match? Was it like 5 seconds? Anyway, then
TNA record.
Yeah, it's probably a new TNA record. Yeah.
Then again, TNA brought back their classic post-match beatdown. First, to start with Ric Flair attacking Matt Morgan to no avail, and then we see Abyss minus Janice. Apparently, Abyss might be feeling sexually frustrated without Janice.
Oh no! By the end of the night, he got nailed.
Abyss comes in and then beats the crap out of. Then he and Rob Terry beat the hell out of Matt Morgan. I wonder if we'll see maybe the return of somebody to help out Matt Morgan with Abyss and Rob Terry. I foresee a possible tag team match coming within the next week or so between Rob Terry and Abyss and Matt Morgan and a possible mystery partner. Then speaking of New Japan Orlando Jordan would be a worse one.
Oh.
Yeah.
I just hope he wouldn't be wearing the diaper from New Year's Eve.
Oh, no.
No, that's on his head now.
The next thing we see is footage of the TNA stars in Tokyo. It was a good video montage, ladies and gentlemen, but when James Storm was looking for a Japanese drink called sake, and he was trying to pronounce it, all I'm going to say is thank God for censor buttons. Anyway.
No, it wasn't censored. They still said fucky.
I thought it was sucky.
No, he said fucky. I heard it back, and it was more of an F than an S.
Next thing we see AJ Styles backstage prepping Kazarian for his X Division title match. When again we see Crimson with a wire around AJ's throat, and he starts choking him out. Then of course Crimson is saying, "They're coming, they're coming." Jeez.
What, the electricians to fix the lights at Raw?
If
all right.
They're gotten fired.
A very nice X Division title match between Kazarian and Jay Lethal. I gotta say, again, I really didn't see a bad thing when they put the title back on Kazarian. Kazarian, again, is very talented. He's starting to gain a very good character, a very good attitude towards his character and the way he's performing in the ring. So I really didn't see a problem. I really don't have a problem with Kazarian being X Division champion. But again, it was a very nice match with Jay Lethal and Kazarian for the X Division title. Kazarian came out on top. Then we see Anderson and RVD with Tommy Dreamer cutting a promo. Thank God he wasn't crying. Hyping up their matches with Beer Money and Jeff Hardy, respectively. Again, thank God there were no tears. Next thing we see Jeff Jarrett and Kurt Angle. I do apologize. I'm getting a little distracted. Somebody is messaging me while I am talking to you.
Whoever you are.
All right, I do apologize about that. Anyway, next thing we see is the supposed rant by Karen Angle Jarrett and her husband Jeff Jarrett, and the quote sloppy seconds chant started right at the beginning. What a wife as hot as that. Does anybody really care about sloppy seconds? When you have
I want them, please. Can I have them, please?
Oh. 4/3.
No, as they were cutting the promo, Kurt Angle comes from behind and attacks Jeff with a suplex.
Comes from behind.
Okay, I didn't mean for it to come out like that. Anyway,
double giggity.
Anyway, it just the end of the promo turned to a beatdown. First Kurt on Jeff, then Jeff on Kurt. Damn it! I didn't mean for that one to come out like that either.
I missed that one. You got away with that one. Don't worry.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff Hardy and Tommy Dreamer took on a match. Thank God, again, no crying. You saw Jeff Hardy win with a twist of fate thanks to the... No, wait, that's later on. I apologize. The camera catches the Pope talking on someone on a cell phone, and then he's talking about getting on the computer about something. And he approaches a member of the TNA staff named Brian and said he had some overseas business to take care of and he needed to use the guy's computer. Well, basically, this turned out to, with Pope, again, somebody's messaging me. I really don't like somebody messaging me on Skype in the middle of a review. I apologize about that. But anyway, it turns out the whole point of this promo, we see Pope just jacking the guy's computer. AJ Styles and Ric Flair discussing who they could be. Again, I wonder if they is a sexual reference to them. Anyway, in another non-title match, but again, a beautifully done match. It was Beer Money and Rob Van Dam and Mr. Anderson. Main event quality at its best, ladies and gentlemen. Then what took this down is seeing Matthew Hardy. All caps.
Cold blood.
Hardy. Distracting, getting involved in this match, pretty much costing Rob Van Dam and Mr. Anderson the match. We see Brian Kendrick and Bully Ray in the back. And Brian Kendrick, for some reason, is telling Ray to do yoga to keep his anger in check. Was there really a point to this promo? Or the fact that just to see
Brian Kendrick got pushed on the lockers and basically got beaten the shit out of. The way he fell back, it's like he was fucking dead.
But another useless segment, we see Devon calling out Brother Ray, and then they have a fight. Ray gets a chair, puts the chair on Devon's skull, and then takes out a chain and whacks the chair on top of the skull. Why? Anyway, apparently a match or beatdown that was ordered. Kurt is in the ring waiting for Jeff Jarrett. Then we see Gunner and Murphy, the Goon Squad, coming to attack Kurt Angle. He fights them off. Then Jeff Jarrett gets him in a rear naked choke. Then Immortal comes down, minus Abyss, and beats down on Kurt. Abyss starts to walk down the ramp. Then he drops to his knees and falls down with Janice stuck in his back.
Oh.
Crimson, dressed in a suit, walks out and screams, "Immortal, February 3rd, they're coming." Basically, guys, it was an okay TNA Impact. I really thoroughly enjoyed the main event match. It was really well done with Beer Money, Rob Van Dam, and Mr. Anderson. Again, those are four individuals who know what they're doing in the ring. They know how to work the crowd, and they pretty much know how to keep it well done in the ring. TNA Impact gets a 3.5 out of 5. Let's start with you, Ashley. Ashley, your thoughts on TNA Impact?
I honestly thought it was a very good show. You had decent matches. You had actual decent promos for the majority. The Devon Ray thing was pretty pointless, but the Ray beating the shit out of Kendrick was kind of, I found funny because I don't like the Kendrick character. But overall, I have to give it a 4 out of 5. It seems like TNA is getting its act together. It'll be interesting to see what happens this coming Thursday, and then the whole big who's they. Hopefully it isn't, what's it called? Jersey Shore coming back. Otherwise we're fucked.
All right, let's go to Mean Matt Dunn with his thoughts on this week's TNA Impact.
Okay, it was better than last week. I thought the Jarrett Angle thing actually did its job. It made me want to see Kurt go out and get his revenge. Hopefully that'll happen. It's TNA, so we don't know. Good main event match, good X Division match. I also enjoyed Brian Kendrick's segment. Give Brian Kendrick his that pick. I give it a 3.25 out of 5.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go to, if he's there, Mick37. Mick, are you there? Okay, Mick has sent me a private message saying you had to step away from the microphone. Yeah, Mick is having, again, a little chest cold problem, and he's got the cough, so we're going to skip Mick for right now. Let's go to Chris Masters. Chris, give us your thoughts on this week's TNA Impact.
Well, I'm just going to go ahead and say a 2.5 out of 5. Go right in the middle.
Okay.
I only tuned in for about an hour because I had schoolwork.
All right, let's go to WWE Fan. WWE Fan, your thoughts on this week's TNA Impact, please.
Okay, I have to give it a 4 out of 5, and who knows what the Pope was searching for on the computer, and I'm afraid to ask.
Probably.
Yay! Porno!
All right, let's go to Andy. Andy, your thoughts on TNA Impact?
Yeah, I'd give it a 3 out of 5, and like we've just been saying about the Pope on the internet. Surely he's not the general manager at Raw.
Oh my God!
The Pope was on the internet ordering the police at the airport to keep patting down Jesse the Body Ventura and piss him off.
Let's go to GCW's Cody Hopkins with his thoughts on TNA Impact.
Well, TNA Impact, like I said, had a really good show. They had really great matches and awesome promos. You know, especially the main event. I will agree with you on there, Billy. Awesome tag work between those two teams. You know, just great match through and through. I'm going to give it a 3.75 out of 5.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, again, if you want to get in your thoughts on the week in review, there are several ways to do it. Well, actually, only 3 ways to do it. You can call in to 914-803-4615. That is 914-803-4615. You can also log into Blog Talk Radio and click Ask to Talk on our episode to call in via Skype for free, or you can log in to blogtalkradio.com/WGS Radio and log into the chat room and give us your thoughts in the chat room, and your thoughts will be read on the air. Let's head over to Friday Night SmackDown. Wade Barrett introduces the core. I'll say it again. Wade Barrett introduces the core. And the rest of the team.
Hey, it's Spanish.
If I can say it in Spanish, that would be a miracle, but I'm not going to say it in Spanish because I don't know how to say it in Spanish.
It's very close to the pronunciation of queef, I'm guessing.
Well,
I'm not, I have to look up on that.
El Corey?
Possibly.
Anyway, Teddy Long makes his way out during this introduction promo and says he's still the general manager and in charge. And if 4 of them are going to play outside the rules, then they're going to have a problem. I had a problem with that promo, and I have a problem with the name of that team. Then again, it's kind of addicting. Anyway, during this bit, there's also been announced that Wade Barrett and the rest of are in the Rumble match. Then we see Alberto Del Cuifo. I'll say it again. Alberto Del Cuifo. I'll say it one more time for prosperity. Alberto Del Cuifo comes out, queefs on the air, and then says he's going to win the Royal Rumble for the 6th straight show that he's appeared. We're being over-queefed. Then we see Alberto Del Cuifo. I'll say it again. Alberto Del Cuifo. I'll say it one more time. Alberto Del Cuifo take on R-Truth. Why the fuck did we see this match? Have we? I've been thoroughly exhausted by seeing Del Cuifo. I'll say it again. Del Cuifo. I'll say it one more time. Del Cuifo and R-Truth, who's getting crunked and who actually sucks. How long is WWE going to be throwing this crappy match in our faces? I am so sick. This is like the 3rd or the 4th week in a row we have seen Del Cuifo. I'll say it again. Del Cuifo. I'll say it one more time. Del Cuifo and R-Truth in a one-on-one match. WWE, do something different, for God's sakes. And it's during this match that we see Teddy Long laid out. And I mean unconscious. I don't mean he's getting a blowjob from Vicky Guerrero.
Oh, yeah.
He's loaded into an ambulance and it's taken off to the hospital. And then I did look for the number on the back of the ambulance, guys and gals, and I could not get it. Anyway, the core arrives backstage.
Just some clarification on the core. The core are in the Rumble, are they?
Anyway, the core arrives backstage and hears about Teddy Long and proclaims their innocence. The next thing we see Beth Phoenix take on Lita with Michelle McCool. And again, I'll say it before and I'll say it again, folks. Only reason why Michelle McCool has a job in the WWE, she's fucking The Undertaker. Then we see Ray Crimea River Mysterio taking on dashingly moronic Cody Rhodes. It was a good match. It was a decent match. That's all I can say about it. It was a decent match. It ended with Ray Crimea River Mysterio giving the 619 to dashingly moronic Cody Rhodes. And with the knee brace that Rey Mysterio had, it actually looked like he exposed and broke Cody Rhodes' nose.
Yay.
Todd Grisham, who was backstage with a Teddy Long status update, then he gets interrupted by Alex Riley and Mick's favorite wrestler, The Miz. Why? Michael Cole, he squealed with joy. Gay! Full homo! He see Dashley Moran and Cody Rhodes backstage with the doctor. The doctor says his nose is broken. He's given a mirror. And Rose nearly cries and queefs when he sees it.
Oh, no.
He never actually sees the nose. Tony Chimmel explains the rules of the Amateur Wrestling Challenge between Swagger and Kingston. Now, what I don't get this, where was the build to this Amateur Challenge match? Where did this all take place? When did it happen? Apparently, WWE thought it would be good to spring this out of nowhere.
Cutting room floor.
Yeah, basically on the cutting room floor and saying, hey, let's break this Amateur Wrestling Challenge without any build or anything leading up to it on Friday Night SmackDown. Nobody's going to give a fuck.
Let's have some weird fucking scoring system for it as well.
Basically, it was basically 3 minutes of my life that I'll never get back. Jack Swagger defeated Kofi Kingston by 10 points to 9 if you guys officially want to keep score.
Well, apparently for that, you got 1 point for getting up off the mat.
Yeah, that's actually that's actually part of the rules of Greco-Roman wrestling. You get one escape point after a person has taken you down. You get 2 points for a takedown. You get 2 for a reversal if you reverse the pressure, and if you let them get up, you get 1 point. The other person gets 1 point because they're back in neutral. They're back in a neutral position.
I see.
For the second week in a row, we see Drew McIntyre and Trent Beretta. And again, it is still a good match, and it's leading up to the very interesting storyline that apparently they're trying to develop with McIntyre and Kelly Kelly. Again, the only thing that made me sell is I actually got to see Kelly Kelly. That's the only thing I cared about. I mean, Kelly Kelly. And we see Miz and Alex Riley boasting about their attack on Randy Orton from the previous episode on Raw. And then Edge interrupts them before he could finish his I'm awesome line. I really think he wasn't going to say I'm awesome. I think he was going to say I'm the Miz and I'm queefed.
I'm sucking Cole's cock.
The promo is hyping up their upcoming match on Raw for the following Monday. The Miz gets out of the ring, and Alex Riley apparently thought, hey, I'm going to be big man, and then take on Edge. Next thing you know, 3 seconds later, boom, spear, Riley queefs his pants and has to leave. And that's where the Miz gets on the apron, but quickly backs down when he sees Edge is ready for him. And then we see Edge taking on a member of the Core next. And apparently it was Justin Gabriel. Now, for a one-on-one match with Justin Gabriel and Edge, it was actually a pretty good match. Justin Gabriel held up his end pretty well. A lot of people figured, when Justin Gabriel went to SmackDown, he would be a jobber. That doesn't seem to be the case.
Well, of course he'd be able to hold up his end. He's going out with Kelly Kelly, for God's sake.
Boing. Anyway, thanks to the help of the Core... Thanks to the help of the Core, where Justin Gabriel gets the win, and then again, we see SmackDown pulling a TNA. Post-match beatdown.
Yep. Same old shit.
So in essence, ladies and gentlemen, Friday Night SmackDown, I would think was okay, but not better than TNA Impact, and not worse than TNA Impact. So it's going to get the same score as TNA Impact from yours truly, a 3.5 out of 5. Let's go to Ashley. Ashley, your thoughts on Friday Night SmackDown?
Thought it was a decent show. Possibly not as good as some of the shows in previous weeks. They're doing well hyping up the Rumble, especially because of the fact that there's nobody huge to push at the minute because of the lack of stars either being injured or retiring or are already in the picture for a title. So I'd have to agree 3.5, but secretly I want to give it a 5 out of 5 because there was no sign of Hornswoggle this week. Yes!
Exactly.
Let's go to Mean Matt Dunn with his thoughts on Friday Night SmackDown.
All right, I give it a 3.5 out of 5 because there was more wrestling on SmackDown than there was on TNA, I believe. And okay, too much Alberto, and the Truth Alberto stuff is bullcrap, as we all know. Let's see, the Drew Kelly situation is freaking stupid, but at least we know that she has two facial expressions instead of one. And I feel sorry for Drew. That's how bad this storyline's going, because she's so stupid. She saw Beretta slap him, but yet she goes goes down and like he's about Beretta or some bullshit. And I have to say, Ezekiel Jackson sounds like he has his tongue caught in a cake mixer when he talks.
Wow.
Ray versus Cody was good. Drew versus Beretta was good. And the ending was saying beat down crap by the Nexus Wolfpack, as I call them.
Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize. Keep going.
Eddie Long's annual coma, because he seems to always go in a coma every year. And Cole's heel commentary, it was awesome. I like how he ripped on everybody. It gets 3.5. Top 5.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a new caller here from the 805 area code. Caller from the 805 area code, you're on the line.
What's up?
How you doing? Who is this?
Chris?
Oh, how you doing, Chris? Where are you from, Chris?
California.
All right, Chris, we're talking Friday Night SmackDown and everything that happened here involving the Core and Edge and everything leading up to the Royal Rumble. What can you give us your thoughts on Friday Night SmackDown?
I think this week's Friday Night SmackDown was a little weak. Raw this week was a little better.
Really? And another thing that's happened with the Royal Rumble coming up, the format was changed from a 30-man to a 40-man Royal Rumble. What's your thoughts on that?
I think it'd be a lot better. We're gonna have a lot more action. A lot more superstars that you've never seen in the Royal Rumble due to there's only 30 men.
Okay. All right. Let's go to Gohan. Gohan, your thoughts on Friday Night SmackDown?
I actually liked the SmackDown. I loved how dashing melodically Cody Rhodes got his nose broken. I loved that part of the show. That was my favorite part of the show. But in all seriousness, SmackDown actually was pretty solid this week, or last Friday, whatever you want to call it. It was very good. I liked some of the matches they were giving out there. I hope Teddy Long comes back really fast because I do not want Vicky Guerrero to be the permanent GM because she sucks at being GM. I need Teddy Long back there. Obviously, we all know the Core was the one that took him out. I forget the one person said, the Nexus Wolfpack. That was actually a good name for him.
Exactly.
Very solid SmackDown. I do not like what they're doing for the Royal Rumble. It's going to be really stupid. Why would I pay $10 extra to see 10 extra jobbers in the Royal Rumble? It's stupid, pointless. It's stupid and pointless, and it goes against tradition. It goes against the record. If they did something like this, like in the late 80s or in the early 90s, when the records weren't set, when the Rumble wasn't established yet, it would have been all right. But they didn't do that. They waited until 2 decades to do it. It's a stupid idea by WWE. I hope they change it back next year because this is extremely retarded. But all seriousness aside, SmackDown very solid. I would give this week's SmackDown a 4-star rating. Very, very good, and I was very, very impressed with Friday Night SmackDown this week. Hopefully Undertaker wins the Rumble. And I do not believe that head writer who said that Michelle McCool got her push on her own. I still believe that if it wasn't for the Undertaker, that she would not be where she is today. So, former head writer, I don't even know what his name is. Freak you, you're an idiot. You're a liar.
Michelle McCool, Michelle McCool, the only person in the continental United States who gives Undertaker rigor mortis down there.
No, she did get pushed by the Undertaker's you-know-what.
By the Undertaker's tiny little soldier.
He buried Undertaker alive. If the Undertaker's winning the Rumble this Sunday.
Oh, by the way, we also thank Chris from California for calling into the show. Let's go to Chris Masters. Chris, your thoughts on Friday Night SmackDown?
Well, I think it was a real good show. I did read that they're going to start pushing Chris Masters. By the way, I'm not Chris Masters. but the other guy. But after WrestleMania, so I'm looking forward to that. But also, I gotta say, the core saying that they, or the core, saying that they had nothing. Yeah.
Next team.
I'm saying that they didn't have anything to do with the Teddy Long attack. I think that's complete bullshit. And so, but other than that, very good. I have to give it. And by the way, if I see Dolph Ziggler sticking his tongue down Vicky Guerrero's throat one more time, I swear to God, I am going to lose I'm going to lose everything I've eaten for the past 5 days.
Oh no!
So, the Michael Tarver cameo for no reason.
The Michael Tarver cameo?
Yeah.
Don't worry. We'll be mentioning it again in Raw. God.
So, I give it 4 out of 5.
All right, let's go to the person who tweets on Nick37 on a nightly basis. WWE fan. WWE fan. Your thoughts on Friday Night SmackDown? I'm sorry.
Oh my God!
Queen Laquifa.
Okay,
Wow. Clever.
I give...
Go on.
Okay, I give SmackDown a 3 out of 5. And Mr. Cody Hawkins, can you please put Mr. Dashing Rhodes in his place?
Unfortunately, Cody Hawkins is not on the line anymore.
Oh.
But who's still on the line? It's Andy. Andy, your thoughts on Friday Night SmackDown?
Unfortunately, I didn't see it because I was coughing my guts out with man flu. So, from what I can gather, it sounds like I'm going to have to start watching SmackDown. I've not really been a big SmackDown fan, as you've probably all heard me say before. I always seem to think it's like second-rate wrestling, but from what I've heard of you guys, I think I better show it a bit more interest for next week.
I think Michael Hayes is stepping his game up, realising the fact that he could be out of a job soon.
Oh.
Let's go to Monday Night Raw. Raw starts with Edge and for him making a promo saying he does not want to wait. He wants Miz to come down into the ring and get this started right away. And for one, I can't blame him because of everything that's going on and everything that happened between him. And before that could happen, this happened, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh,
no, this happened. Exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for another epic phase in coal mining history.
Have your attention, please. I've received another email from the general manager. Have your attention, please. I've received another email from the general manager.
Wow. Go on. You would think, for that one simple line, he wouldn't botch that up, but he did.
Out the ass tail.
Mick37 is back. Mick, your thoughts on Friday Night SmackDown, master of tweets?
It was okay. It wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst either. It was better than previous weeks I've seen.
Fatality.
Giggity.
Yeah. On that note, let's go to Monday Night Raw. Or do you want, Mick? Do you have any thoughts on TNA Impact before we go to Monday Night Raw?
Impact, they needed more wrestling, but the matches they had were okay, I guess.
4 matches.
All right. Now, after that botched email, which stated that whichever one of the following 3 members from the Raw roster was able to throw Edge over the top rope, they would get the 40th entry in the Royal Rumble. Basically, it didn't happen, as Edge threw Jack Swagger, Tyson Kidd, and Drew McIntyre over the top rope. And then Edge gets pissed at the computer again, and during this face-off was when the new Nexus, or I'll call him Nex Ass, worked their way down to the ring. And Punk introduces the newest member, Mason Ryson, or as Ashley calls him, Batiste 2.
No, that actually isn't taken from me. I have to give the full credit to Chris Jericho on his Twitter. That's what he calls it on Twitter.
Mason Ryan takes the mic and has only one thing to say. Queef. No, he said face. A whole lot of talking about face. Then we see the Core come out, and Wade Barrett says the Core is not a dictatorship. It's 4 men who are equals, and then and Mick 37's favorite wrestler, Ezekiel Jackson, grabs the microphone, and as Mean Matt Dunn says, the dude sounds like he's got his tongue caught in a meat grinder or a blender.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have another botched email when the Irish General Manager announces that Wade Barrett will face CM Punk, and the stakes are high. Whoever loses will see himself and his entire group out of the Royal Rumble match, with the special guest referee being John Cena. Next, we have a out-of-the-blue tag team match with John Morrison and Mark Henry. Well, that's a pair. Taking on King White as Mayonnaise Sheamus and Alberto Del Quifo. I'll say it again, Alberto Del Quifo. I'll say it one more time, Alberto Del Quifo. Now, what pisses me off about this match, ladies and gentlemen? Quifo, I'll say it again, Quifo, I'll say it one more time, Quifo got the victory for his team with an arm bar submission on Mark Henry. Why?
And Mark Henry tapped out
see what you're making me do, saying Quifo so much, you're making me cough because his name's annoying.
It was the most BS match I've seen in my life.
And during the match, we see Michael Tarver on TV. Again, why?
He was on SmackDown, but I don't know if he caught it.
Someone who injures their groin needs to be re-examined on how much of a man they are.
Edge injured his groin.
The new Nexus.
Hang on, if he needs to be re-examined, can we send him to Jesse the Body Ventura's airport so that he can get pat down all the time?
I wonder if they wear Air Force Ones.
The Divas battle was on the line. Natalia took on Melina. And, ladies and gentlemen, I have seen a lot of sharpshooters in my time, like from Rugged Ronnie Garvin and his version of it, Sting with the Scorpion Deathlock, Bret Hart. I have never seen a sharpshooter as was applied by Natalia, who turns it and then gets bent backwards completely. Basically, Melina's legs were touching the ground. And I don't mean in that direction either. I have never found it absolutely unbelievable. Then again, sometimes you lose the fact that Melina's a contortionist of sorts.
Yeah, does that mean Melina can be shipped in a flat pack?
It's either that or it means that Melina has the ability to lay down and kiss her own ass.
Giggity.
I don't know if you can bend that far, so you can kiss her on the feet.
CM Punk is shown backstage with the new Next ass, talking about more face stuff. It was completely, completely faithfully. Anyway, we see the big match that everyone was talking about: champion versus champion. Miz with Alex Riley taking on Edge, who wins by disqualification because of the fact that Vicky I queefed a sandwich Guerrero and Dolph Dick Jiggler Ziggler were joined on commentary. Basically, the only thing Dick Jiggler was there for was to hype up his title match at the Royal Rumble with Edge. Josh Matthews was seen with Wade Barrett as Barrett explains his obsession with Cena cost him the Nexus. Then now he's happy to be a member of the Core. He says that the truth is they have no leader, and that he has learned to respect Cena and hopes Cena will back him up one day. Yeah, right.
Shit. Mick, you can be leader of a group in WWE. Take it over.
Ted DiBiase, Maurice, and Alicia Fox took on Daniel Bryan and the Bella Twins. Again, Daniel Bryan, you lucky son of a bitch. And I'll explain in further reference why. Again, as far as the match goes, it was a very crappy, very poorly performed match. And it was so poorly, I believe Maurice rolled up one of the Bella Twins to get the victory. Then in the back, the Bella Twins are arguing with each other over about Daniel Bryan. Again, you lucky son of a bitch. Then we see them entering his locker room, and he sees Daniel Bryan on the couch making out with Gail Kim. You lucky son of a bitch. You get hit on with the Bella Twins, and then you get to make out with Gail Kim? How can I sign up for that kind of a job?
I would do it.
The new Nexus, Harris and Michael McGillicuddy. By the way, Husky Harris, I've said it before and I'll say it again, has more donuts, rolls than a bakery. Took on Santino Marella and Kozlov with Tamina, who's actually looking quite feminine for the fact that she looks like a guy. Now, the new
Also known as...
The new Nexus got the victory in this one, I guess probably to start a new angle between them and Santino and Kozlov. Possibly we could be looking at a tag team title match for the Royal Rumble, guys. Then after their match, Otunga states that they will be helping CM Punk propel himself to victory at the Royal Rumble. And then Otunga introduces Punk. Then the new Nexus holds up the arms to make sure that everybody has their deodorants.
No white marks.
Yep.
Old Spice.
The guest referee, John Cena, showed up, and then we see CM Punk taking on Wade Barrett. Very interesting done here. John Cena rarely paid attention to the match, signed autographs. And then I guess for having profanity or something to like that effect, a double disqualification was called. So basically, neither man won. So the core and the core and the next ass were out of the Rumble until we hear the botched anonymous general manager come on and then said that Cena was just showed a blatant abuse of his powers, and due to that result, the new Nexus and the core will be featured in the Rumble, and if Cena did not go back in the ring and say, I'm sorry, he'll not be able to compete in the Rumble. So what the fuck was the purpose of this match? Cena counters that and says, what I did, quote, was genius. However, he did take his shirt off, head back to the ring, and as he apologized to Punk and Wade, he also said sorry with his fist. Then we see that the new Nexus and the core run down to the ring. Cena looks like he'll be vastly outnumbered. And then out of the blue, someone yells out, "Free food!" Then we hear
Big Show, Henry.
Pretty much anybody who wanted a free meal ran to the ring and beat the crap out of everybody that was in there. Then after the Raw, the Nexus, except David Otunga, got the crap beaten out of him by everyone else in the ring.
No, Nexus went out. No, what happened is Nexus and Cora went out, and all the other people that remained just beat the shit out of David Otunga.
All right.
Oh, by the way, I've never seen the Big Show run that fast ever.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rev Jake Slayer is back on the line. Rev Jake, are you okay?
Oh, dude, I am so okay. It's not funny. The meds are kicking in. You could set me on fire, and I wouldn't give a damn.
No.
Sweet. And from Aurora Shock Media, Sonic Fanatic is here. Sonic, how are you this week?
I'm doing fine.
And basically, guys, Monday Night Raw gets a 4 out of 5. Now, before I get everybody's thoughts, I just want to let everybody know we have 10 minutes left on the live stream. We're gonna get everybody's thoughts on it on Monday Night Raw, and of course on the archive as well. We're gonna break down and give our thoughts and predictions on the Royal Rumble coming up this weekend on the archive, and you can hear it in its entirety on the archive. So let's go to Ashley. Ashley, your thoughts on Monday Night Raw?
Overall, I'd have to give it a 3.75 because it was a good show. Some of the bits, the faith thing, I've kind of got sick of. Actually, the most genius thing was the Bella Twins thing, because apparently they, were wanting to bed Daniel Bryan, but apparently they're so stupid they got the word virgin confused with vegan. But also, it was an interesting little jive when Daniel Bryan was making out with Gail Kim and the Bellas were going, what the hell? He basically said, all you're useful for is being on the arms of the guest star on Raw. And given that they've got rid of that now, you're pretty much fucked. He didn't use those words, but that's what he pretty much implied. So if the Bellas apparently did come up with that storyline, they've tried to de-push themselves. What the fuck? 3.75 for me, though.
Let's go to Mean Matt Dunn with his thoughts on Monday Night Raw.
Okay, I agree. The face thing with CM Punk is getting stupid. At first, I was really liking him being insane. Now it's getting hard. The promo, whatever, it was actually that's moments. It was pretty funny. And King, team was on fire. He was their name was beat the crap out of Michael Cole and ripped off Nikki. Saying, "Hey Vicky, I thought you would be out celebrating the birth of your new boyfriend or something like that." The matches were good. The Diva match was good. We had the Nexus choreograph. I give it 3.75.
All right, let's just have a small point. When they have their fist in the air, isn't that pretty similar to a Black Power song?
What it reminds me of is the Nation of Domination is what it reminds me of.
And speaking of Black Power, MiG-37.
Well, let's go to instead of that, let's go to Gohan. Gohan, your thoughts on Monday Night Raw?
Well, Monday Night Raw was okay, very interesting. They did the whole thing with Daniel Bryan, lucky little frigger. But it's kind of interesting that they did something like that on a PG show. It kind of wonders if they're going back to TV-14. They've been hinting on it. I doubt they're going back to TV-14. But the fact that they've been mentioning in previous weeks PG, and this is a PG show, and about it, kind of so.
What in the world?
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry.
But matches together, for example, Quipo winning the way he did against Mark Henry, a world's strongest man, like him, how am I, as a wrestling fan, as even you, Billy, as a wrestling fan, take that shit seriously? Like, how the 400-pound man, 400-plus-pound man, get freaking arms, or whatever you call it, and
armbar submission.
A guy that's probably less that's just stupid and retarded. I hate when they do stuff like that. And then the main event was absolutely pointless, but it was interesting, even though we didn't see any of the people get kicked out of the Rumble. So kind of made no sense, but in the long run. There, and then the Divas match, now we got to see Lay Cool again at the Rumble. I mean, and then we got, that was an interesting sharpshooter, but still, I would have rather seen Melina and Natalia at the Rumble rather than Lay Cool again. It was very interesting, but there was a lot of flaws to it. Michael, you got to remember, he was kicked out of Wade Barrett's Nexus, so he's not going to go to the core. He's going to go to the new Nexus, because the new Nexus has a new leader in there. So that's what I think is going to happen. Michael Tarver's going to the new Nexus to join the CM Punk in that fashion. Overall, Raw, I would give it 3.5 stars. Nothing really special, but they had some type of things in there. But there were a lot of things that we could have done without in there. So, that's really about it.
All right, if Reverend J. Slayer is not copping a sponge bath right now, do you have any thoughts on Monday Night Raw?
Yes,
thank
I do.
God.
No, I wasn't getting a sponge bath. I was getting, they had to hook my test leads back up to make sure my heart's still pumping. Monday Night Raw. That sharpshooter that Melina was in, I actually had a girl in that kind of position once when I was having relations with her. Now, I have to say that this morphine actually makes Gohan a lot more tolerable. and
thank you.
Let's take a vote. Who's been thrown out of more Nexuses, Michael Tarver or Gohan?
Oh, Gohan.
I can't blame it on the weed. I can't blame it on the weed, but I can blame it on the morphine.
On that note, let's go to Mick 37. Mick, your thoughts on Monday Night Raw?
Well, first, I have to say, it's not worth an essay. Go on. But, I give it a 3.7.
because it had some good wrestling matches. Once again, not an essay. Go on.
All right, let's go to Chris Masters. Chris, your thoughts on Monday Night Raw?
Quick question, real quick, is Gohan the one who went queef and then was gone?
What? No, I thought it was Alberto Del Quifo. I mean, Alberto Del Quifo. I'll say it one more time. Alberto Del Quifo.
But I gotta say, I was real impressed with Monday Night Raw. Even though I didn't see it last week, I did see it this week. I made it a point to, and apparently I wish that WWE could go a week without showing The Wiz. If it's okay with Billy, I'll say it again. The Wiz. Again, if it's okay with Billy, I'll say it again.
That's a bit too much overkill. We don't want to give him too much publicity. God damn it.
Okay.
Yeah,
But,
and you're also ripping off Billy's gimmick.
How about the
well, that's why I said if it's okay with Billy.
It's okay, Rev.
Anyways. But, Monday Night Raw overall, 4.5 out of 5.
All right, let's go to WWE Fan. WWE Fan, your thoughts on Monday Night Raw?
5 out of 5, and Melina was busting her hump.
Wow. Andy, were you still having the man flu during Monday Night Raw?
No, watched Monday Night Raw with you guys. Thought it was an okay Raw, to be honest. The only thing, I fully agree with what some of the guys have said about the Mark Henry match. Vince keeps ramming it down the throat that Mark Henry's the world's strongest man. I don't know which world's strongest man TV series he's ever watched, but he's never been in anyone I've ever seen. But Mark Henry's had heavier meals than the guy that was on his arm doing the arm bar. I mean, what are we supposed to believe? That he can't lift up a quarter pounder?
No.
On that note, let's go to Rorschach Media, Sonic Fanatic. Sonic Fanatic, very quickly, your thoughts on Monday Night Raw?
Let me get through my notes here that I took during the show. First segment was pretty pointless, I think. The whole Edge versus like 3 other superstars, I thought that was pretty pointless. Orson, Henry versus Sheamus and Del Quifo. I'll say it again, Del Quifo, one more time. Del Quifo. I thought that was pretty stupid that Mark Henry was tapping out to a freaking armbar. Divas Championship match was pretty. It was alright. The middle stuff was kind of boring. I just liked the end.
Sonic, I hate to interrupt, but we have 30 seconds left here on the live stream. What we're going to do, guys, we're going to take a short break. When we come back on the archive, we're going to get Sonic Fanatic's thoughts on Monday Night Raw. Then we're going to break down the Royal Rumble and give our predictions on each match. Wow, that's going to be fun. You're listening to WrestleTalk on WGS Radio.